Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos. I do believe Ole Gunnar Solskjaer does need more time at Manchester United now. I do believe where the club need to give him at least a couple of transfer windows to make further more investment. Like I did say to you, I do credit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in some aspects. Also I've got some element of concerns about him, but the things I do credit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for. He has got a lot of trust with him in his young upcoming players. Also, he did get rid of a lot of the deadwood, throughout the course the summer and that. And also, too, he did recommend, three good players to the squad. And obviously, we spent over £140 million on Dan James and Wan-Bissaka, and of course on Harry Maguire. And we have seen glimpses of what good signings they've proven to be so far. So it's good in the aspect, that we did address, some of the problematic areas in that, during the summer, but we didn't address all the problematic areas. But like I did say, it's only been Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first summer as Manchester United, so you can still quite frankly say he's in the process of rebuilding that. But despite our bad start to the season, Manchester United are still backing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and Ed Woodward is convinced that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer can still turn things around at the football club. But we have enjoyed a really difficult start to this season. We've won two, we've drawn two, and lost two in our six games so far in the league this season. So in that aspect, we've only registered 8 points, from 6 games, and we know that's nowhere near good enough to our current standards and that. But you have got the vast majority of Manchester United fans, now demanding Ole Gunnar Solskjaer out of the football club. And if this bad run of form, does continue to persist, I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will be gone by Christmas. But I think so far this season, he's replicating, what I saw last season. And what I mean in that aspect is that I haven't really seen much improvements this season. You can pinpoint, certain games this season already, that arguably Manchester United should have won. We should have won away at Southampton. We should have won away at Wolves. We should have arguably, won at home to Crystal Palace, because in that particular game, we had. We had over 20. We had over 20 odd shots. Obviously, we had the majority of the possession in that, but we ended up, of course, losing the game. So there's games this season Man United should have won. I think we are creating chances in that, but we're just not being clinical enough in front of goal. Obviously, that was a problem last season. We don't seem to have that clinical element, and it's a problem really. And I think Manchester United do need to justify this problem and that, but we do seem to be creating chances. But you can still see the deficiencies in the squad. Solskjaer is already making plans for the January transfer window. I think also Ed Woodward is making plans for the January transfer window. And in January, obviously, want to recommend at least one midfielder in. Maybe we even need two midfielders in, because Paul Pogba could still leave in January. But definitely, that midfield area is one of the priority areas where Man United need to strengthen up. Don't forget, for the majority of the summer, Man United were in search for a right winner, so you can still see the deficiencies in the squad. But yeah, I want Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's tenure, to become, successful at Manchester United. Like I did say, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, obviously, he's been at Manchester United now overall, I think, for around 10 months. Don't forget, we recommended Solskjaer in December of last year. Obviously, following the dismissal of Jose Mourinho, obviously at the first he came in as the interim manager. Obviously, Solskjaer was the interim manager for 3 months, and in that 3 month period, it went really well. The results were good, the performances were good. He exceeded expectations and that, but since he got the job earlier on this year, back in March, everything, of course, has just seemed to have all gone wrong and that. But my element of concerns about Solskjaer is, he's tactics are questionable, and I do believe we are tactically inept. Obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer hasn't really got that managerial experience, not to the highest level and that. He did win a couple of Norwegian titles with Mould. He only had a short tenure with Cardiff, so they are my element of concerns. But obviously Solskjaer does want to bring the winning mentality back to Manchester United. He also wants to bring that fear factor back to the football club. and we know none of those have been there, since the Alex Ferguson era and that. But I do keep saying to you, and I've said it on my other videos and quite recently, regardless who our manager is, even if we had a manager now, with proven pedigree in that, a top manager who's dealt with top players and that, they'd never replicate, what we did under Alex Ferguson. No one is going to ever follow Alex Ferguson's legacy. But take into account as well, Ferguson, didn't win out in his first 4 years at the football club. When we appointed him in from Aberdeen back in 1995, or was it 1986, Ferguson didn't win anything. And obviously, I think at that time he was one game away from getting the sack, but he didn't get the sack. And then look what Alex Ferguson, went and accomplished, and that, we had 20 odd years of success under him. Obviously, we had great players under Alex Ferguson. I did say now, I'm hopeful this team at this day and age, can replicate, what the team did under Alex Ferguson and that. But yeah, we definitely know that further more investment is needed in the squad and that. Obviously, Solsjaker's confirmed he wants to stick to the same policy of recruiting, young British players. Obviously, he did recommend 3 British players to the squad during the summer and that. But yeah, so I think Solskjaer needs to be back tomorrow in January and of course next summer, because for me, I don't think he was backed enough, during the summer. And like I did say, I think reflecting on our inconsistency, this season and towards the back end of last season, I think, everyone should take the blame, but I think the vast majority of the blame, does stem from the board and that, because like I said, the board were ruthless enough during the summer. They didn't get all the players that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wanted to recommend in and that. But the board, I think the board are a liability, and I think, the board do need to assure structural changes at the football club. Whether we'll get them structural changes or not, I do not know. I think that also could have gone against us, during the summer. Obviously, we didn't get a director of football, and I did say that's one of the, structural changes, that we do need at the football club. Maybe you could arguably say if we'd have got that director of football in earlier on in the summer and that, then maybe in that aspect, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would have been backed more. But yeah, I think the vast majority of the blame is from the board. Some of the blame obviously stems from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Obviously, some of the blame stems from certain players, that have been underperforming, so they have to take responsibility. And I think also, some of the blame, does stem from Ed Woodward. But yeah, for me, what's got to improve at Manchester United now, we've got to start getting positive results. The performances have got to improve. We've got to start scoring more goals, because so far this season, we've only managed 8 goals in 6 league games, and that is very, very bad. And last season, we only managed 53 goals in the Premier League all season. That was, last season. But so far this season is replicating last season. But, last season, was a huge disappointment. We finished 6th. Obviously, we failed to qualify for the Champions League. And I did say, based on our failure, to qualify for the Champions League, that went against us, of getting all the players that we wanted in, because it's obviously going to be extremely difficult for us, to attract all the players to the elite level, obviously, when you're not in a Champions League football. But I think we've actually failed to qualify for the Champions League 3 times out of the 6 seasons, since the Alex Ferguson era. So that just indicates how inconsistent the football club have been in the last 6 or 7 years. But, I did say, reflect on the amount of money that's been spent at Manchester United in the last 6 and 7 years. Also reflecting on our history, because we have got a fantastic history and we are the most successful team in English football historically. Now we should be much more of a commanding position than we're in now. We all know that our squad is nowhere near good enough to win the league, and we can accept that. But I think it's definitely good enough for a top 4 finish. And like I did say, towards the back end of last season, I also said it at the start of this season, our expectations this season obviously will be to get back into the Champions League, obviously by finishing in that top 4. And I did initially say our aspirations will be that top 4 in the next couple of seasons. But obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has got to exceed expectation levels at Manchester United. But we have got big ambitions for the future, and that's obviously to get us back being competitive. Obviously want to get back up there, winning silverware and that. And obviously this is something else, that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, does want to bring back to the football club. But like I said, I love Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a lot. Like I said, the vast majority of Man United fans want him out. I'm not one of those players. You'll still get certain Man United fans, that'll still, back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer all the way. Don't forget, Solskjaer was a great player for Manchester United for 11 years. He did He did flourish under Alex Ferguson's guidance and that. And Solskjaer actually did say earlier on in the summer, he believes he's following Alex Ferguson's philosophy. But I don't think his tenure, is going to become successful at Manchester United, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. But the question is, who will Man United sign in January and that? I was reading a lot of reports quite recently. It said reportedly that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had identified two strikers, he would like to recommend into the football club in January, and that was reportedly Ousmane Dembele and Mario Mandzukic from Juventus. I was reading reports about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it said reportedly that Jadon Sancho and James Maddison are our number one priority targets for next summer. But yeah, a lot of players have now left the football club, since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival. A lot of players have left the football club. I think around 7 have left or something like that. Obviously, Antonio Valencia left at the end of last season after he served 10 years with Manchester United. Obviously, we do know that Chris Smalling left the football club. Don't forget, he went out on loan to Roma. Despite the fact that Chris Smalling left, though, we have still got 6 centre-backs in the team. Obviously, Darmian, went to Parma. Obviously, Sanchez and Lukaku, they went to Inter Milan, so obviously in that aspect, they're reunited together. And obviously, following the dismissal of Lukaku and Alexis Sanchez, a lot of people believe now, we are short of options in that attacking line. This is obviously why we haven't, been scoring enough goals. Don't forget, Ander Herrera left earlier on in the summer, after he served 5 years at Man United. He joined PSG on a free transfer. And Marian Fellaini, he left back in January after he served 6 years at the football club. So for me, we need to recruit a replacement for Ander Herrera and Marian Fellaini. We also need to recruit a replacement for Romelu Lukaku and that. But it's good that we did get rid of a lot, the deadwood and that. I think, we should have maybe kept Ander Herrera, because, you could arguably say, that Ander Herrera, was one of our best players since the Alex Ferguson era. Like I said, analysing his career at Man United, I think he was mainly consistent. I think he had, 5 great years there with the football club. And it was also bad as well that we didn't only let him go, we let him go on a free transfer. We let his contract term run down. But we're known for doing it. Like I said, we're known for doing it. We overpay for players. Then when it comes to letting them go, we let them go for next to nothing. And, we've done that recently. There's been prime examples of it this summer. We also, did it with Matteo Darmian and that. But I still believe more players need to leave the football club, because I still think, these problematic players at Manchester United, like I mentioned on my recent videos. As you all know, though, we have got a lot of young players in the squad, that are developing and trying to improve at Manchester United. Like I said, maybe, certain, young upcoming players, we should maybe orchestrate loaning some of them out, because maybe, that will be beneficial for their career. Also, will gain them more experience in that. But yeah, I think, quite a lot of Man United fans and that have got, element of concerns about certain young upcoming players. Maybe they don't think, they'll become a fruition at Manchester United. It may only turn out that Mason Greenwood, is the only young upcoming player that will be become a success at the football club. Now, my overarching view is on Mason Greenwood. He's been absolutely fantastic. Obviously, Mason Greenwood has scored in his last 2 games for Manchester United. Obviously he's started the last 2 games. Obviously, against Rochdale earlier on this week and FC Mestania, and obviously scored in both of them games. So I think he's gaining Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's. He's gaining, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's trust more, obviously, and Solskjaer recently said, it would be impossible, to leave Mason Greenwood out of the team, obviously, if he keeps scoring, and obviously, if he keeps the consistency up. Solskjaer has assured, he will get more minutes under his belt. But for me, obviously, Mason Greenwood has to start on Monday against Arsenal. Don't forget, Mason Greenwood recently, just recovered from tonsillitis. Obviously, in that aspect, he had missed the game against West Ham. But Greenwood is only 17 years of age. Obviously, he only made his full debut for the club at the end of last season in the 2-0 home defeat to Cardiff. But I think so far in the league this season, he has, don't forget, made 4 substitute appearances. But for me, he's come up with that moment of quality, in the last couple of games. And I think at the moment, Mason Greenwood is a much better solution than Marcus Rashford in that at this present time. Because obviously we know that Rashford's got a groin injury. Obviously he's a huge doubt for the game on Monday against Arsenal. And, analysing Rashford's performances this season, he hasn't been brilliant, let's be honest. He has done okay in parts. A lot of Man United fans actually, believe that Marcus Rashford, is over overrated. Obviously, so far spent the entirety of his career with Manchester United as Rashford. He's been a United player since the age of 7. Obviously, he's been in the senior squad with us, since 2016 as Rashford. Since 2016 as Rashford and that. Don't forget, he scored on his Europa League debut against Midtjylland back in 2016. He also scored twice on his Premier League debut against Arsenal back in February, 2016 and that. And, we do know he can play well, he can get them runs in behind, he can score goals and that, but he just hasn't been to his potential best this season. He has got a groin problem, Rashford. I think, he's definitely not going to be playing against Arsenal. I think, he should be back for the Newcastle game. But anyway, like I said, I would, prefer, my preference would be Mason Greenwood anywhere, over Marcus Rashford. And obviously, we've got a lot of, other young upcoming players in the squad as well. Obviously, we've got Chong. He's now played a couple of times for Man United, so we have seen glimpses, of how what he can do in that. And he hasn't, he wasn't too good against Rochdale, earlier on in the week. Maybe Chong, may not become a success at Manchester United. He's not on the same level as Mason Greenwood. We do all know that. Chong, though, is only 19 years of age. Reports revealed out actually, the other week saying that Chong had been in negotiations with the football club over a new contract. But, Chong, like I said, he did really, really well throughout pre-season. Only made his senior debut for the club last season. Don't forget, did Chong. But, yeah, I think, we need to give him a bit more time and that, he's only played a couple of games this season, don't forget. And, don't forget, there was talks about him during the summer, about him going to PSV on loan and Feyenoord, his former club, on loan, but he had turned these loan offers down because Chong, wants to remain at Manchester United, at least anywhere, for this season. Obviously, Angel Gomez is another one of the young upcoming players. It's confirmed, he will not be playing against Arsenal. It's also confirmed that Diego Dalot will not be playing against Arsenal because Solsjaker confirmed that, they are both injured, Angel Gomez and Diego Dalot. Now, obviously, Angel Gomez is another one of our midfield options. It didn't, as you say, anyway, he's going to be a big part of the squad this season. Obviously, he did actually come on as a substitute in the 2-0 defeat to West Ham, did Angel Gomez. But yeah, like I said, he's another one of our midfield options. And like I said, with Diego Dalot, it was only not too long ago, he recovered from a groin problem, Diego Dalot. Obviously, Diego Dalot has only made one appearance for the club this season. And obviously, that game, that appearance came against FC Mestania in the Europa League. Obviously, Diego Dalot is one of our backup options in that full-back position. But I think, he's still gonna get given his chances, when he can and that. But they've both been ruled out for the game on Monday. Alex Tuanzebe, now, I think he possibly, could become a success at Manchester United. Obviously, he was captaining the team, against Rochdale earlier on in the week in the Carabao Cup and that. And I think, he can become a success, like I said. And I think, in the games he's played this season, Alex Tuanzebe, has done quite well. Obviously, don't forget, Tuanzebe was on loan with Aston Villa last season, was he? So in that aspect, he has gained more experience in that. So I think he'll do really, really well at Manchester United. But yeah, we have got quite a lot of young upcoming players in the squad. As you are all aware, we've got other injuries as well. Obviously Martial's out with a thigh injury. Solskjaer confirmed anyway in his press conference, as he updated you recently, that Martial, Rashford, and Paul Pogba, they are all out for the game. Martial's got a thigh injury. Martial hasn't played, since the 2-1 defeat to Crystal Palace, near the end of August. And like I said, he's an imperative player, is Anthony Martial, and you can see the difference, in the team, when Martial is playing. And I think, like I said, if Martial, can avoid any more injuries this season, then obviously, if he can keep the consistency up, I think he can score from at least between 15 to 20 goals this season. Martial's predominant position is playing as a left winger and playing out wide, but I think he actually, is more effective in that central position, obviously, as that got proven, throughout pre pre-season. Martial's been a long-serving at the club now, and I think, he can spend a hell of a lot more years at Manchester United. Don't forget he's signed a 5-year contract back in January, so Martial's under contract with the football club until 2024, and he has scored 50 goals for the football club. Martial now is in his 5th season as a Manchester United player. He has been here since the Louis van Gaal era and that, and I think what I've seen of him so far this season, before he sustained that injury, he was replicating, what I saw in his debut season at the football club, because don't forget, we did get Anthony Martial as a 19-year-old, don't forget, and he did really, really well in that season. I think he scored around 17 goals, if I'm right. We did pay initially around £36 million for Martial, but he does potentially rise up to 58 million, I think, based on goals and achievements and that. Don't forget, Martial was subjected to a lot of transfer speculation, back under the Jose Mourinho era. There was reports of him leaving. Obviously, I think early on in the summer, there was talks about, Martial possibly, leaving the football club, but he is a very, very imperative player, and I think a lot of things have improved about his game. I think his stability is looking good. I think he's got that finishing assets now. Still hasn't quite, emulated to that level as yet. There's still a hell of a lot of development in him. Luke Shaw, like I said, Solsjaker gave us some good news actually, regarding Luke Shaw quite recently. He has confirmed now that Luke Shaw is back in training. Obviously, Luke Shaw hasn't also played since the 2-1 defeat to Crystal Palace. Luke Shaw has been out with a hamstring injury. Now, obviously, we do know the difference Luke Shaw does make on that left-hand side and that. Obviously, analysing the majority of his Man United career, I think he's done mainly well. He's had some rough patches. He had a bad spell under Mourinho. Obviously, he's sustained quite a few injuries in that, but prior to that, I think he's done really, really well as Luke Shaw. But yeah, he's to return back to training. I think this game against Arsenal is going to come too soon for him now, so I think he will be back for the Newcastle game and that. But this game will come too soon for him against Arsenal. But Solskjaer said, he's working, really, really hard. Luke Shaw in training, and hopefully we do expect to see him, before the international break. But yeah, I'm just basically there interpreting, some of the stuff Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did actually, say in his current press conference. I think it was yesterday. But we do know with Luke Shaw's absence, it has been mainly Young that's been playing. He's been fulfilling Luke Shaw's role at that left back position mainly, because Young's been playing on a regular basis, quite recently due to the absence of Luke Shaw. Obviously in the cup games, it has, been Rojo and that, playing at that left back position. But yeah, it's good to see that players now are regaining full fitness. We also got some good news as well in regards to Fosu Mensah. Obviously, he's another one of the young upcoming players. It's confirmed that he's also back in training. He's obviously been out with injury for quite some time as Fosu Mensah, because I think he's got some kind of knee injury. Obviously, I think he had sustained that injury, whilst he was on loan with Fulham last season. But yeah, Fosu Mensah returned to the club earlier on in the summer. Eric Bailly, obviously, he's far away yet, from recovering from injury. He did say he's out with an knee injury. Eric Bailly, he's a long-term absence, so I think Eric Bailly is out until the end of December, or the new year. I think also his Lee Grant, we're still out with injury in that. But yeah, so with Paul Pogba, like I said, he's obviously now out with an ankle injury. Like Solskjaer, did mention in his press conference yesterday. I'm also interpreting this what he said. He did actually say, say that Paul Pogba obviously played the full 90 minutes against Rochdale in the Carabao Cup. Obviously he had returned to the starting 11 and that. But Solskjaer confirmed that he had sustained another knock. The Paul Pogba, and I think now he's got the same injury as what he currently had in that. But I think he's going to be out for the Arsenal game, which is very, very disappointing. Obviously, Paul Pogba initially had to withdraw from the France squad around 2 or 3 weeks ago. Obviously, due to an ankle injury he had currently sustained, and he would have been infuriated in that aspect, because obviously, Paul Pogba does like to represent France. He loves France a lot. Obviously, won the World Cup with them last summer, and his performances in the World Cup last summer, were really, really good and that. So obviously, reflects on the injuries anywhere. Obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has got to make alterations in the squad and that. But what's the best formation you think Manchester United should go with? Obviously, Solskjaer will, I do presume Solskjaer will try different formats and that. He'll he'll try different things, see what works out for him best. Obviously we have seen Solskjaer go with a 4-3-3. Obviously we've seen him go with a 4-2-3-1 and that. But I did, and as you say, I think this season Solskjaer will go with a 4-2-3-1 formation on a regular basis and that. Sometimes he'll go with a 4-3-3, but they're the two main formations anyway. That Manchester United do go. But I think the 4-2-3-1 system, suits Manchester United more, in my opinion. In my opinion, to be quite honest with you. But yeah, like I said, it's going to be a big game against Arsenal on Monday. It's going to be a very, very big game, for Manchester United, and it's going to be a very, very difficult game. Looking at it, we're only sitting 3 points behind Arsenal. I think we're actually sitting 7th, or is it 8th? And that I think Arsenal are sitting 4th. But it is going to be a very, very difficult game. Like I did say on my preview and my press conference reaction, that we have got a really, really good record against Arsenal, especially at Old Trafford. Like I said, we haven't lost to Arsenal at Old Trafford, since September 2006 in the Premier League, that is. So we haven't lost them at Old Trafford in the league, for around 13 years now, and that's a very, very long time. Like I said, Arsenal did beat us, in the FA Cup at Old Trafford back in 2015. Obviously, that was back under the Louis van Gaal era and that. And with Arsenal, obviously, their expectations, this season will be the same as ours, basically, is probably, to get back into the Champions League, and that Arsenal will obviously want to get in that top four, and obviously if they can, then obviously that will build a platform for Arsenal to build on. But yeah, I think, the vast majority of Arsenal fans, will demand Unai Emery out of Arsenal. Of course, if Arsenal, do fail to get into the top four this season, that's what Arsenal fans see of it and that. Obviously, this is Unai Emery's second season, obviously, Arsenal and that. But I think, Arsenal again, do need to give him time. And actually, reflect on it during the summer, Arsenal, did a really, really good investment. Don't forget, even though it allegedly said at the beginning of the summer, and that they got a tight budget. It says Arsenal only got from between 40 to 45 million pounds to spend on players. I think quite a few Arsenal players left, during the summer. Obviously, I can't remember all of them that went, but I know definitely Aaron Ramsey left Arsenal. He went to Juventus on a free transfer, and obviously Aaron Ramsey, was a long-serving player at Arsenal. He served around 11 years for them. But the players that they did recommend in, obviously, they got Nicolas Pepe. They paid a substantial amount for him. He's only around 22. Is he 23, 24? Nicolas Pepe, something like that. Obviously, they did get him from Lille and that. They paid over £70 million to him. I think he signed a 5-year deal with Arsenal. Can't comment how he's played so far with Arsenal this season. I haven't, really watched Arsenal, to be quite honest with you. But I did say when they got him, he would be a good buyer for them. And, I said, he did really, really well. When he was at Lille, he had, 2 good seasons with Lille, did Nicolas Pepe. But yeah, I think he's a good buy for Arsenal anyway. Don't forget they got Kieran Tierney from Celtic. Obviously the Premier League's more of a challenge for Kieran Tierney because obviously the Scottish League's a pub league, basically. Obviously, he began his career when that was Celtic, did Kieran Tierney. Obviously, he had spent the entirety of his career with Celtic, obviously, before he moved to Arsenal, on deadline day and that. But yeah, Arsenal I think they did get him on deadline day. He's predominantly a left back, obviously. Arsenal got Daniel Ceballos from Real Madrid on loan. I think Arsenal could make the deal permanent if they want to. I'm not too sure if there's an obligation to buy. I've been hearing he's done quite well for Arsenal so far. I think he's a right back, but I think he can he also play as a midfielder, if I'm right. I think they also got William Saliba, didn't they, from St Etienne. Hasn't he been loaned back to St Etienne for the rest of this season? I'll have to look that up. So yeah, and they also got David Luiz as well on transfer deadline day from Chelsea. I think they paid around, 7 or 8 million pounds for him and that. But yeah, so Arsenal, obviously we know they're not good enough to win the league and that, I think they're sort of on the same level as us and that. But, Arsenal do play good football, they can pass the ball well. They've got some good players, like I mentioned on my previous videos. Also, I think they're good in terms of an attacking intent, they can attack, they can score goals, they're good at creating chances and that. But, they're poor defensively, basically, so they do leak a lot of goals, do Arsenal. So I think, we'll probably score them against Arsenal and that. But like I said, Man United and Arsenal's always a good fixture. Like I said, it's always a good fixture. The fixture's not as iconic as it was, back in, the day, when we had Alex Ferguson, obviously, when they had Arsene Wenger. Obviously, Ferguson and Arsene Wenger are the two longest serving managers in English football, and that Ferguson spent 26, 27 years at Man United. Wenger, spent around, 22 years with with Arsenal and that. And obviously back then, it used to be a title decider. They did Manchester United and Arsenal and that. Obviously the game last season was 2-2 at Old Trafford. That was back under the Jose Mourinho era. Obviously, like I said, we beat them in the FA Cup last season. Don't forget, by 3-1. Obviously that particular game was in that particular game, Solsjaker was still interim manager at the football club then. That was in that period, and it was the beat us at the Emirates, 2-0 last season. I think that was actually our first defeat, last season under the Mulligan and Solskjaer era and that. But yeah, it's going to be a very, very big game and that. But, I think a lot of Man United fans are going in this particular game negative in that, they think we are going to basically lose the game. I think if we can put a performance out, we can get something, maybe not win the game, but maybe, Man United can get a draw. But for me, it's a must-win game for Manchester United. My overarching view on Jesse Lingard, I think, he's been very, very poor so far this season. And Lingard's goal scoring record against Arsenal is actually good. I think he scored 4 goals against Arsenal in all competitions, and he scored quite a few times against Arsenal last season. But Jesse Lingard's performances need to improve because obviously reflecting on his status at the football club. Obviously, I think he's on around 100 grand a week. Is Jesse Lingard? He does need to put better performances out. But despite the fact that we've had a poor start to the season, I still think these certain players that have done well, quite a lot of them underperformed and that. But I think the players that have done well, I think Daniel James has done really, really well at the football club. I think he's done really, really well as Daniel James. I think he's becoming a fruition at Manchester United. I think Wan-Bissaka's settled in really, really well. I probably believe he's been one of our most consistent signings so far. I think a lot of people believe that. I think Harry Maguire, he's settled in, quite well in that. But I think if they can keep their performances up, all their valuations, will persistently grow. I also think, McTominay, he's done really, really well so far this season with Scott McTominay. I've been really, really impressed there with McTominay. Very, very impressed. If in regards to him being a long-term solution for Man United, I have got element of concerns about that. And I don't know if he can keep the consistency up, but so far this season he's done really, really well. Obviously, mainly this season for the majority of the games he has been playing alongside Paul Pogba in that midfield, but obviously quite recently, due to the absence of Paul Pogba, he has been playing alongside Nemanja Matic. But McTominay should play on Monday. Didn't play against Rochdale, but should play on Monday in that. He deserves to keep his place in the team, in my opinion. With Fred, maybe I would orchestrate on, playing him on Monday, Fred. I know Fred wasn't too good against Rochdale, but I think in the last couple of games before the Rochdale game, I thought, Fred, did quite well in that. Like I said, Fred's been at the club since last summer. He hasn't, performed to the same sort of extent, as he did do at Shakhtar Donetsk, because analysing it, he was an exceptional player at Shakhtar Donetsk, but, hasn't really replicated this at Manchester United, let's be honest. But we still expect to see better things from Fred this season. But in my opinion, anyway, we need to see more of Fred. Matic needs to be dropped more. I think any of our midfielders, to be honest with you, are much better options than Matic in that. Because, like I said, Matic is too inconsistent. He's too slow. He's aging up as well. He is now 31 years of age. Is Matic, and obviously his current deal does expire at the end of the season. Don't forget, the club do actually have an option, to extend his contract by a further year. And we paid around £40 million for him from Chelsea, back in 2017. And that Matic has gone on to make around 90 appearances for the club in all competitions. 67 of those appearances have obviously come in the Premier League. But Matic, was first choice last season. Actually, our first choice midfield trio last season was Matic, Herrera, and Paul Pogba. But for me, Matic, does need to be moved on, because for me, he is one of the problematic players at the football club. Andres Pereira, my overarching view on him is I think, he's been very, very poor in the games he's played so far this season. Obviously he was playing on the right against Rochdale, and I thought Andres Pereira, was quite poor in that. But I'd say give him more time. Andres Pereira, he is, still very, very young. So yeah, I would give him more time. So yeah, I would, give him more time and all that. But like I do keep saying, I think there's certain players that need to leave the club. I think this should be Ashley Young's last season now at Manchester United, in my opinion. Obviously, he's past his sell-by date, and obviously, that's reflecting on Ashley Young's age. Obviously, Ashley Young is now, 33? No, actually, he's 34, sorry. I think he's 35 next year. But for me, he needs to be moved on at the end of the season. I think also Phil Jones is a problematic player at the football club. Obviously, Jones has been at Manchester United, 8 years? Now he's into his 9th season at Manchester United, just like Ashley Young. Young's been here 8 years. He's now into his 9th season at Manchester United. Don't forget, they both got new contracts last season. Young got a new 1-year contract. Jones got a new long-term contract and that. And I don't think the club should have given either of them new contracts and that. So in that aspect, it was bad business for Man United. Rojo's obviously made 2 appearances this season for Man United. Obviously, so has Phil Jones. They've both played twice this season. They played against FC Astana and Rochdale and that. And I did say in them, in the cup games and that, Jones and Rojo will get them opportunities that they want and that. For Rojo, I think he still needs to be moved on though in January or next summer. Like I said, don't forget Everton had inquired about getting Rojo on transfer deadline day. Obviously, and that, and I think a few other teams inquired about getting him. But Rojo's versatility is very, very good in that back line. But he actually is predominantly a centre back and that. But yeah, another problematic player. So I still think there's probably maybe 3-4, that still need to leave the football club, in my opinion. But we definitely I think we need at least 3 world-class signings and that, if we are, to be future, title contenders, in my opinion. And obviously, I said, it hasn't only been this summer transfer window, we haven't been competitive enough. It hasn't only been this summer transfer window. I think in the last 3 to 4 windows, we haven't been competitive enough in that. And obviously, that in that aspect, the blame, obviously, again, stems from the board. And analysing our recruitment policy, it isn't too good, to be quite honest with you. But I said, in the last 6 or 7 years anyway, I don't like the way the football club has been run. But like I said, I haven't really seen much improvements under Ole Gunnar Solsjaker, than what I saw under Mourinho, Van Gaal, and of course David Moyes and that. So I haven't really seen much improvements. But yeah, I don't think Ole Gunnar Solsjaker is going to last at Manchester United. If I am, going to be quite honest with you. And like I said, Solskjaer is our 4th permanent manager since the Alex Ferguson era. The football club haven't really got the structure, to keep sacking their managers, despite the fact that 3 managers have already been sacked since the Alex Ferguson era. Of course, obviously David Moyes was sacked. Obviously, after he only lasted 10 months at Man United, I think David Moyes obviously had the shortest tenure at the football club since the Alex Ferguson era. Obviously, Van Gaal went. I think he was at the club just over a year. He obviously won the FA Cup and that. And obviously, Jose Mourinho, obviously, his tenure lasted 2.5 years and that. But I already give you the reasons why it didn't work out under the Jose Mourinho era. Because obviously, Mourinho had bad disputes with the board. He had bad disputes with the top players. There was the philosophy wasn't right. It was part of the bus football and that. And this is why it didn't work out under him and that. Despite that, he won the Europa League and the League Cup in his first season with Manchester United. Did Jose Mourinho and that. But yeah, we need to see improvements at Manchester United without a shadow of a doubt. But yeah, I want Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to succeed at Manchester United. And like I updated you on the video that I did actually do this morning in regards to Paul Pogba now. Obviously, now I've been reading recent reports now. Paul Pogba is reportedly demanding Manchester United to pay. He's demanding Manchester United to double his wages, to £30 million a year. Obviously, £30 million a year, obviously, equates to around £600,000 a week. I think it's probably, more than likely that Manchester United, will not, currently meet his wage demands. So if Man United are willing to meet his £30 million a year wage demands, then, Paul probably, will renew his contract at Manchester United. I do actually, believe that, Man United have already, held discussions, with Paul Pogba's agent, Mini Raiola, to discuss Paul Paul Pogba's future and obviously over the possibility of extending his contract term at the football club. As it is now, Paul Pogba, he's on 290 grand a week now on his current deal. So in that aspect, he is one of the highest paid players at the football club. Obviously, he's got 2 years left on his current deal as Pogba, with an option, to extend it by a further year. So Paul Pogba wants his wages. He wants his wages, basically, more than just over double, if he is to commit his long-term future at Man United. So basically, he's demanding a £310,000 pay rise. He's demanding a 310 grand pay rise. He's Paul Pogba and that. But I can't see, Manchester United willing to give him this, even though probably, we can afford to do that because we have got the financial power to meet them demands and that. We're a massive club. We've got massive revenues, but I think that's way too much. To be quite honest with you. And I think like he updated this morning, Paul Pogba is desperate to still leave Manchester United. I still think he wants to leave the football club in January. Obviously, quite a few teams inquired about getting him during the summer and that, but obviously the main architect was Real Madrid. Real Madrid were relentlessly linked with him. Obviously, there was talks about him making a return back to Turin, and that because he did have 4 good years in Turin with Juventus. Hasn't mainly replicated this at Manchester United. I think allegedly PSG had agreed to get him on deadline day, but allegedly his move never materialised due to the Neymar saga. And also, to Barcelona had inquired about him, but it was mainly, Real Madrid that were in for him. But I did say, reflecting on the substantial amount, we did put him on Paul Pogba during the summer, was a stumbling block of him, making his move to Real Madrid, because obviously we quoted out that we wanted around 180 million. Obviously, Real Madrid were not willing to pay that. Real Madrid themselves, they're one of the richest clubs in the world, and they've got massive revenues and that. And obviously, they spent a substantial amount during the summer. They spent around, £300 million on players, on 5 players, I think it was. They did manage to sell some players, so they did, generate, some money back around Madrid. But Zinedine Zidane, did identify, Paul Pogba as his number 1 priority target. Christian Eriksen, don't forget, was also on Real Madrid's agenda. But obviously, Real Madrid's preference is Pogba over Christian Eriksen. If Paul Pogba is to remain loyal to the club and we can get his contract extended, then Real Madrid's alternative then will be to go in for Christian Eriksen at the end of the season, because Christian Eriksen's current deal with Tottenham, does expire at the end of the season. But Paul Pogba confirmed early on in the summer anyway, that he wants to leave Man United. He did say, he's seeking for a new challenge and that, and he basically wanted to leave, to rejuvenate his career. Don't forget, Pogba, hasn't scored yet this season. He's provided a couple of assists, I think. Don't forget he missed a penalty earlier on in the season, the 1-1 draw with Wolves, and he actually was subjected to online racial abuse, following that penalty miss and that. But we have seen him at his best as a Manchester United player, Paul Pogba. We have seen him at his best. We have seen him at his best and that. And when he's the best, he's, one of the best midfielders in the world. And we mainly see the best of Pogba, when he's 3'd up and that. And he's only 26 years of age, so he has still got a lot of development in him as Paul Pogba. And I think, it also said that Adidas, had a big part to play in, Pogba staying at the football club this summer, because Adidas wanted Paul Pogba to remain at the football club, because obviously, they believe it's better for them commercially. But I think, Man United, I think the talks have stalled, regarding new contract, due to the substantial wage demands and that. Man United, I don't think, are going to be willing to give him this. But like I said on one of my videos the other week, that, if there's any chance of Paul Pogba getting his contract renewed, Pogba will obviously, want a massive increase in his wages. But yeah, 600 grand a week, is basically, asking for too much and that. But I said it hasn't only been this summer. Paul Pogba's been subject to a lot of transfer speculation. Obviously, reflecting back last summer, there was a lot of talks about him leaving the football club, based on his poor relationship with Jose Mourinho and that. But, Paul Pogba now is into his 4th season at Manchester United. Since he rejoined from Juventus back in 2016, he's won the Europa League with us, the League Cup with us and that. And I've already said a couple of main factor reasons, why he does want out in the football club. But, reflecting back, when Pogba was younger, don't forget Man United had him. Obviously this was back under the Alex Ferguson era. Obviously, we got Paul Pogba from Lee Harvey. back in, was it 2009? You know, Pogba, you know, I think spent a couple of years in our academy and that, and then obviously, you know, I think he made a couple of first team appearances, but due to limited appearances, you know, Ferguson obviously, you know, let Paul Pogba go on a free transfer. Then obviously went and had 4 good years in Turin, and then obviously, you know, we paid obviously, you know, £89 million for him. Obviously, he is our most expensive signing, is Pogba. But yeah, will not be playing on Monday, I don't think, because he's obviously, you know, got another ankle injury. So he will obviously now not be playing. I obviously already gave you my starting 11 prediction, didn't I? I think it was yesterday, you know, for the Arsenal game, and that, you know, I did, I think, go with a 4-3-3. But yeah, for me, Mason Greenwood has to start this game against Arsenal. McTominay needs to play. McTominay needs to play. Obviously, it will be Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof at the back. They were rested for the game against Rochdale earlier on in the week. Obviously, Wan-Bissaka, you know, will keep his place at that right back position. With Lingard, would I play him? Not too sure, because his performances have been poor so far this season. But maybe probably Solsjaker will go with Lingard anywhere. But yeah, we'll find out, you know, what team he does go with on Monday. So the main part of this video, you know, was to just basically say that you know, Solskjaer needs more time at the football club, as I think you all know. I'm just giving my reflections on it, basically. I know we've had a bad start to the season now, but I'm still, you know, backing Mulligan and Solskjaer all the way, because obviously not all the blame stems from him. Some of the blame stems from him, but not all the blame stems from him. But we'll just have to see, basically, you know, who we can get in January, and that's if he is, you know, still at the football club, you know, by January and that. But yeah. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you guys all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.